Hey everybody, welcome back to Dude Ridge DIY. Chris and Jake here. We are in the wood yard. And today video, I don't really know how it's gonna go because it is thundering very loud out and getting very dark in the past like 5 minutes.
Pretty consistent too. It's not just like a little clap here and there. It's been rolling.
I don't know if you can hear that, but it's not like a giant army plane flying overhead. It's consistent thunder. But anyway, today's video, we are going to try to address some of the concerns and issues that we have seen over these past couple videos since we've put the Grizzly bars on the end of the Eastonmade wood splitter. I hope I eat my words, but I will be surprised if that bag is still standing by the time that wood is dry. I thought these were inch and a half. Ah, it's the nuts there. Oh yeah, like a glove. Oh yeah.
Hey.
All right, that's great. Measuring tape. All right, so what do we got for a distance here? 3 4/8. 3 3/8. So let's do 3 1/4. That does not sound good. Okay. And then what do we got? Wait, that's 2.
Yeah.
Measure twice, cut once. 3 3/8. 3 3/8. There we go.
Oh, a lot nicer.
That was a lot better.
Not to worry, everybody. This is still green wood. It is not kiln dried.
Yeah, sparks ain't gonna catch it. Wow, this thunder is terrifying.
Yeah, not sounding good whatsoever.
Not sounding good at all.
I thought you measured that properly.
I thought I measured it properly too.
Whatever. At least we don't have to add material.
You don't have to add it. Oh yeah. Boom.
It's in.
Just like you read about. Bushing magazine.
Took a little too much off of that one, I think, but you can suck that in.
Yeah, I want them to be snugged in a little bit.
You should tighten up your nut rounder. Glorious.
Nice. Why is this one so much smaller?
I don't know.
That's strange. Huh. This one's a whole like 1/4 inch different.
All good. No worries, man. Thanks for checking in, though. Don't worry about it. It happens. Hell, I did it, what, twice to you guys? 3 times? 5 times? Yeah.
Bada boom. So now I was thinking we could go up and around, or just go right there. You know?
Yeah.
Gotta raise this up a little bit though. Your beer gonna fall? Okay. So. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be any longer than like that.
No, lock it into that bottom. Having trouble finding the hole butt?
Yep. And maybe it would just be easier to. Yeah. That's a little tighter. I mean, if we were to go up and around like this, and then just have this knocked off where it's easy, we could pull slack out by doing something. By doing something like that. Now it's tight. What do you think? Cut it about there?
Yeah, because I think that's as steep as that'll ever be. I don't think we're going to need it any longer.
Yeah, because
if anything, we're just going to make the chain shorter.
Right, and even if this thing went up, this is going to travel with it.
Right.
So,
I think that's a good length. We should cut it there. Well, if you go one more, this side's going to be all slack.
Out, right. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's more stable than it was. So, that's what we got. It's now raining. Pretty good. So that's a good stopping point. Welder Chris should be coming towards the end of the week with his plasma cutter to notch out these things. That's why we're holding off on painting it. Because that'll just make it harder. And once he notches these out, I mean, we should, that, and then reinforcing this. We're probably going to use some more of this 1-inch steel bar or tube to reinforce up here to kind of prevent this flex that we have going down. So yeah, we'll check back in later. Rain delay. Gus Bus. Sammy. They're the calm ones.
Sammy!
All right, guys, we are back a couple days later, and look who's here. Welder Chris.
Hi guys.
Everybody loves Welder Chris and the stuff that he comes up with for the channel. But as you guys know, we had discussed needing some cutouts in between the bars and stuff. So Chris is here with his plasma cutter, and we figured this wasn't something we had to haul the Eastonmade all the way up to his shop. He's just going to cut out some, call them like relief holes, I guess, more towards the center, so as not to disrupt the structural integrity of this whole lower bracket by cutting it all out, because that lower bracket does support this whole, you know, scrap return tray, which is made out of solid 3/16 you know, plate. So that's pretty heavy. We don't want to weaken it too much, but he's just making his lines and measurements where he's going to cut it. And then we're also going to address the whole front bending situation, where this whole front bar, you know, basically this whole, all the weight of this is on this one front bar, and it was kind of torquing like this. If you guys saw, we added these chains to kind of just rigid everything up, but it really didn't help with the tension on this. So Chris's idea was to basically make a whole nother dummy set of these brackets and weld it on the inside so that this bolt has two places to mount to. Just like on the Eastonmade, you know, like wheel brackets, now instead of being mounted on just 2 spots, the Grizzly bars will be mounted on 4 spots. Hopefully that, you know, being right about in here on each side will give it enough rigidity so that it will, you know, stop flexing so much. What are you doing?
I was just measuring the distance between the outside edges of those wheel spacers.
The wheel bracket, yeah.
Wheel brackets.
What
yeah.
do we got? You forgot by the time you got here. Yeah.
I did write it down though.
Oh, it's not a long ride from the woodyard to here.
It's not, especially on a quad. The left side is 3 7/8. Sorry, I'm a little dyslexic as well. And the right side is 4 1/4.
Okay, so they were different sizes. Remember when we were cutting those bushings? Yeah, they were different sizes. All right, guys, so this is what Chris came up with as far as the design for the relief cuts. It's going to be 2 half moons on the outside where less of the wood, you know, falls, so they're going to be a little bit shallower. Again, try and retain some of that rigidity. And then in the center, he's going to kind of do like a squared off triangle shape.
You gonna make a pour now?
Yep.
Well, I need more air pressure. I've never used this on a
Regular?
household plug.
I don't think this house has ever run a plasma cutter. It was built in 1927. It's seen a lot of shit.
There we go.
There we go.
You give me my chip hammer?
Chip hammer. Oh! Lost power again?
Yeah.
God damn it. Ooh, that looks pretty, huh? Popped again?
Yeah, breaker. Good thing we don't have to.
I think it's right there.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna turn it down.
You could be a real asshole and just hold it. It'll pop.
Yeah, I felt it pop before.
You're free.
All right, well, the house was barely able to power Chris's plasma cutter. That is a sign that we need to get some better amperage down here. My other old Ryobi broke, so just picked up this new Milwaukee plug-in. The only other one I had was a battery-powered one. Don't really need that. Getting a couple more logs in. I think he's bringing some hickory. A lot of hickory in there. All looks like shagbark hickory, maybe a couple little sticks of ash. It's gonna pull up. Makes it easier for me to put it on the pile. That'll make a lot of nice smoking wood. End of this tube is all chewed up. Got to hit it with a flat file. Alright, so here's the plan for these things. It's going to add some more rigidity. Basically this one, Chris cut like perfectly. It's going to add a third and a fourth mounting point for the Grizzly bars. Hopefully this extra rigidity, running the span of this crossbar, in addition to the gussets, will help prevent some of that flex and wobble that we saw with the Grizzly bars kind of bouncing. This one is cut like almost perfectly. I actually think it is cut perfectly, the length. This one, they're both cut, the same, or they're both the same height or length, but for whatever reason, this one isn't long enough. So I'm probably just gonna have to put a bunch of big old welds and kind of tack it in place and then fill in that gap, but I'm a little worried because that's kind of a big gap. Alright guys, with a little finagling, I got these things to line up and managed to fill that gap. After a quick phone call with Chris, he realized that it just needed to be shimmed on the bottom a little bit, because if you look, all the weight of the conveyor, or at least at the end of the conveyor, is on this left side, because the hydraulic motor and stuff and all of the hydraulic lines are on this left side. So the whole thing was cocked a little bit to the left. So by shimming up the bottom of the Grizzly bars, it actually pushed up the whole mount of the Grizzly bars, because there is a little bit of wiggle room in these bolt holes, as you might have seen when I put in those bolts. So that kind of filled up the gap, and now we have a much more manageable gap there, and I'm pretty confident that I should be able to get that welded into place. So I'm gonna grab the welder and we're gonna get this first side tacked on. I'm gonna run a couple tacks going down and see how it goes. looks pretty good. I mean, it's no welder Chris weld, but I think that'll hold. Whew! All right, that almost looks a little bit better. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Check it out. Not the prettiest, but I think that'll hold. It's not the prettiest. Might be the strongest though. That one looks like it's laying pretty flat. I know, guys, I need a slag hammer. I don't have one. I need one. If somebody wants to send me a slag hammer, shoot me an email. Well, get these out in a acceptable position. Oh yeah. I mean, I think just looking at it now, all of that bounce that you're seeing is the fact that the legs to the conveyor aren't down, but the if I grab the camera here, the bar itself is no longer flexing. I don't know if you can tell, you know, but you see I'm moving it, and the whole conveyor itself is moving because those support legs aren't down. But the bar used to flex all up in here, and now with those two extra brackets, I think we're in real good shape. I did have a minor setback, which I did not film, but I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me grab a flashlight. Basically, you can see in there, when I welded this one up, that slack that I took up with that piece of wood ended up coming back to bite me because the pin over on this side, that pin wouldn't line up with the holes. It was very far off. So I ended up cutting the weld on top of my, or cutting it, the bracket on top of my initial weld, and re-welded it, as you can see, and filled in the gap, which gave me the extra height that I needed to get that pin a lot closer to being in line. Now it will go in if I bang it with a hammer, but it's reluctant to go in. So I'm gonna have to hit those holes with a die grinder probably tomorrow, because Sarah just called down, said it's time for dinner. But I'll hit those holes tomorrow with the die grinder, and then it should go in a lot easier. I think I'm actually just gonna hit all the holes with the die grinder because, you know, these pins just sit on this back side of the hole, you know, because of gravity. So if I just, you know, ream them out a little bit, I don't think it's really gonna hurt much, and it'll just make it easier for them to snap into place. So, yep, welded it on both sides, if you can see that there. And I think that did the trick. Everything's all tightened up. So as we saw yesterday, these holes need a little bit of reaming out on both of these brackets. One, to make this pin that we had a little issue with fit, and two, just to make it a little bit easier. So I got a die grinder, a little cutting wheel, and we're gonna do that. Okay, so I think this hole and that bottom hole below it are the two that I'd use the most. So I want to make sure that they are nice and open and in the clear. It just went in pretty easily right there, but I'm gonna go a little bit more. All right, guys, with a little bit of convincing and a little bit of reaming, we were able to get both of these pins in. That one is in and this one is in. Before, this one would not go in at all. I also reamed out the ones down here, so this one actually goes in really easily. It's kind of hard to do one-handed by myself, but you'll just have to trust me on that. So with that, I think we are pretty much done with the fabrication and everything. I actually went to the hardware store on my way home today and picked up some paint. I don't think we're gonna get to paint today, but I'm gonna start prepping with some, Scotch-Brite pads up in there where we burned away the paint on the inside from the welding and, kind of clean up all this bare metal. But I think we are in pretty darn good shape. All right, guys, for paint, I'm going with OSHA Safety Orange and Rust-Oleum Gloss Sail Blue. The orange, I don't know, we'll see. And then the gloss sail blue, let's see. That looks pretty dead nuts. Can Gun 1, I have the link to this, I think, in the description. This is an awesome little spray painting tool. Yep, as I kind of imagined, it's not an exact match, but for our purposes, I think it'll be fine, and it'll let people know that this isn't an Eastonmade factory thing. This was a homebrew set of Grizzly bars. All right, gonna call that good for now. Sarah just got home from work. I gotta go in and cook some dinner. But they look pretty good, not the same color orange, but close enough for our purposes. It'll keep the rust off, which is really what I'm concerned about. Okay, guys, so we got a first coat on here. I used the little Chinese Amazon sprayer. Did a pretty good job, got pretty good coverage. You will notice that there's a blue tarp up now. I said it got good coverage, but it also throws paint a very far away, farther than I anticipated. So for a second there, the Kubota L3901 was also Eastonmade colors. Had to go around with some water and quickly, oh, see, here's another spot right there. Yep, had to do that about 1,000 times. Oh, here's another spot. But yeah, I think this color was a swing and a miss, as was the OSHA orange color. So if anybody is out there trying to paint anything Eastonmade colors, it is not OSHA safety orange, and it is definitely not Krylon or Rust-Oleum, sorry, Rust-Oleum cool sail blue gloss. This is more like a baby blue, I'd say. Maybe it's a NC North Carolina Tar Heels set of Grizzly bars here. So one thing I did want to mention throughout the filming of this video, it's been like, I don't know, a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And I haven't posted any other videos. I have been crazy busy. Sarah and I are literally getting married next week. So there, as I'm sure a lot of you can imagine, there's been a lot of preparation and coordination, and my time has had to be spent elsewhere. So I just kind of get a couple hours every now and then to work on this project, and I haven't had much time to split wood or do tree work or anything else, because like I said, we're literally getting married next week. So please keep that in mind. I'm going to try and post as many videos as I possibly can, as long as I have time to make them. But these next couple weeks might be a little bit crazy, because about 2 weeks after our wedding, we are then going on a 2-week honeymoon to Portugal. So things are probably going to slow down here towards the end of the summer. I'm hoping once we're back, which should be like mid-September, we're going to be able to ramp things up again heading into the fall. The weather's going to be cooler. We're going to be doing a lot of tree work, a lot of firewood and stuff like that. So bear with me. I usually don't have too many interruptions. I usually try and post as many videos as I can, like 3 to 4 a week. But these past couple of weeks and these next couple of weeks are going to be a struggle for that. So I hope you guys can appreciate that. And with that being said, we will probably check back in maybe tomorrow if I have time, and we can try and finish up the painting on this thing, get it mounted back up on the machine, and test them out now that they're fully done, you know, with the notches, plasma cut, and everything else. So thanks for your understanding, and we'll check in tomorrow. Okay guys, we got the Eastonmade back almost in its final position underneath the shelter. I'm gonna have to, because we built this shelter before I even knew that I was getting this machine, you know, we didn't build it, we built it as big as we could have. In all honesty, you know, as far as saving money, I didn't want to go out and buy a ton of, you know, lumber and stuff. We used kind of what we had, and it fits under there great. It just, I would have, if I had my druthers, I would have made it taller, because this conveyor, even when it's split in half, won't fit underneath the rafters, you know. So we have to basically back it out farther than it normally would be positioned to unfold it in order to get this thing up, pull the top part of the conveyor out, and then drop it down. And then once the conveyor is fully, you know, elongated and stretched out and locked into place, then I can pull it back into its final resting spot, and it works fine. So that's basically what we're gonna do. I think we're in business. Look at that. My shirt even kind of matches the wrong color Eastonmade blue. But you know what? It doesn't look too bad. Does not look half bad at all. That's great. I think the whole machine's a little cockeye. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record on the camera when I did this, but as you can see, I just came in and quickly rough graded everything, kind of leveled out some spots and pushed back the bank just a little bit. I just want enough room, you know, to be able to have a tote here, you know, underneath the conveyor, and the Grizzly bars that will sit somewhat flush. I don't think I'm gonna, I mean, I know I'm not gonna get it perfect with just the tractor and the bucket, so I think I'm going to go hop in the International, it's parked down there, and go get a couple yards of millings. All right, guys, we're here to get millings. This is literally on my street, right down the street. This place is pretty big. I don't want to film too much because I don't have full permission, but here comes the excavator to load us up. How many yard is the bucket? 2? Okay, half. And then towards the back. He said that's a 2-yard bucket, so I'll get like 3 yards for now. Stuff is heavy, and I can always come back for more.
Heavy. I also think I got a little exhaust leak. I think I blew a hole in the clutch pipe.
In the time that I was gone, which was maybe like 10 minutes, we sold 4 bundles and 1 loose stack. So I guess I'm gonna have to restock the firewood stand sooner than I thought. Got 2 bundles and 1 loose stack left. Let's see. No money in there, so hopefully they paid via Venmo. I'll have to check my phone, see if I got an email from Venmo.
I don't know if you can see that exhaust leak there, but it's right on the flex pipe. You have to get a new section.
Yep, got the Venmo. All right, it should be plenty of millings to cover this little area, get it all leveled up. Let's go. Those millings, that was the perfect amount. Without a doubt. It was 3 yards. I paid 45 bucks. What is that, 15 bucks a yard? I guess that's not too bad. I mean, it's not free, but it's good enough for what I'm doing here. This is really gonna help out. Now I just need to work on getting some wood chips. I'll kind of spread this dirt out along the edges here and get some wood chips to hold it all in place. But for now, I think it's about time we test out these Grizzly bars. I mean, they're a little bit high right now. I think think we could probably drop them down, but yeah, I guess we should probably drop them down a little bit. Everybody, here is the tote of firewood that we ended up with after that little test run, and I gotta say, I am very, very pleasantly surprised with how well these Grizzly bars worked. We got really nice sized pieces of wood. Okay, here's a piece of scrap, that's fine. Grizzly bars didn't get that out. This, as far as I'm concerned, is a small piece of, you know, like starter firewood or a large piece of kindling. This would be a small piece of kindling, but again, Grizzly bars, in theory, should have, you know, filtered this out, but they didn't. But that's okay, because as you can see, they filtered out quite a bit. They filtered out actually a lot, and there was only one piece of firewood in there. Now, that being said, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 pieces of firewood on the ground and a little bit of scrap. And keep in mind, these pieces of scrap, I mean, okay, 9 pieces of firewood on the ground. These are pretty big pieces of scrap. They probably just slowly shimmied down the Grizzly bars and like fell here. I guess in theory, I probably should have had the tote like right in line. Right now, I'd say we're probably about 10 inches of separation here because the wood tends to like shoot down a little bit. But I think I do need to bring the tote in to be even with the very edge of the Grizzly bars, and then the wood should, for the most part, like hit in the middle and this far side and kind of fill in everywhere else. But the amount of scrap that came out, you know, with these Grizzly bars, like, that's awesome. All of that otherwise would have been in the tote of good firewood or on the ground. So I can't complain about that at all. Also, you see, I don't know if you guys noticed, I mean, I am pushing on these things right now and they're bouncing, but I think the 2 extra support brackets, so now it has 4 brackets in all in there, those ones that I welded on in this video, I think they did the trick. I mean, this thing was not bouncing nearly as much, if at all, from the firewood hitting it like it used to. So those really solidified things and made them more rigid. I don't even have those chains on the end here to connect this bottom pan, and it wasn't moving. I don't really think that they're necessary. They, you know, we kind of saw that they weren't really doing much to begin with. I have them if we need them. I don't think we need them. The paint, you know, it's not powder coat, but it's holding up. There's definitely some scuffs and stuff on it, but that's all right. I can always touch it up. So all in all, I mean, I am stoked. This tote of Firewood is really nice. I think a lot of this stuff was actually pretty tough. This is sugar maple. It was all barkless, but I mean, if you hear that, it's already pretty dry. The end couple pieces that we were putting through were ash. So, I mean, all in all, this tote is going to be a really nice tote of Firewood. I know this video is a little bit longer, kind of drawn out. I know it's been a while since I posted videos frequently. I just got one up actually this morning about me and Chris doing some tree work. I might have mentioned this earlier in the video. I'm not really sure. I've kind of been filming this video over the course of like 2 weeks here and there, but I've been so busy. Between work, we got slammed with 2 big storms, both of which weekends I was on call. So me and my guys like worked all night last Saturday, all day Sunday, cleaning up all week, cleaning up all the storm debris. You know, Saturday and Sunday we were just opening up roads and driveways and stuff. So I've just been slammed busy. Sarah and I are literally getting married a week from today. Today is Saturday, the 5th. We are getting married Saturday, August 12th, up in the Hudson Valley in New York. So things are busy. I can't promise how much content I'm going to be putting out. I always post a video when I have a video ready. It's not like I like really wait on you guys. Maybe some days if I just post a video, I'll wait a day, you know, post every other day. But please bear with me. It's a busy time. We're getting married here. We're doing a lot of this planning and stuff, the final stages. So bear with me. And after the wedding, we're not going immediately on a honeymoon, which is great. We're waiting about 2 weeks. And then Sarah and I are going to be going to Portugal for about 2 weeks for the honeymoon. So I'm hoping in that 2 week span, I can get a lot of content filmed. Now that all this is done, we should be back ready to go. I got plenty of logs and plenty of ash to you know, and plenty of totes, plenty of bags. So I'm going to stop rambling. Just bear with me. Stay watching the videos. If you haven't watched them already, go way back in the archives. We got, I think this actually might be the 400th video that I post. So in that case, we have 399 other videos in the archives for you guys to go check out while Sarah and I, you know, tie the knot, essentially. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, kind of putting the finishing touches and the final modifications on these Grizzly bars. I am stoked on these things. They're working so well. I think, Andrew, if you're watching this video, I think you should consider offering this as an option for guys that do totes or, you know, don't necessarily always need that height. Because, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Filters out a bunch of stuff. So, as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. Questions, comments, or feedback, throw it down in that comments section. Go check out our merch on bonfire.com. The link is down in the description. Get yourself some hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeves, tank tops, whatever. Chris and I will be at Boonsville August 18th. I think that whole weekend. That's the weekend after the wedding. Chris and I will be there. So looking forward to seeing you guys there. Drop a comment down below if you'll be there. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.